So when you think of a business, you probably picture a company, right? Shareholders, profits, the whole deal. But what if there's another way to do things? Today, we're going to look at two totally different models, the member-focused cooperative versus the shareholder-driven company. And believe me, it's a choice that changes everything about who holds the power and really what a business is even for.
To really get the difference, let's start with a story. This is Amul. It's a huge brand in India today. But way back, about 75 years ago, it was just an idea born out of, well, desperation. You see, farmers were working their tails off, only to have middlemen snatch their profits through shady, manipulative practices. They were completely trapped in a system that was built to exploit them.
Naturally, they were angry. They knew something had to give. They had to find a way to break free, to take back some control over their own lives. But how? I mean, how could a bunch of individual farmers possibly stand up to such a powerful system? The answer to that question would change everything.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the model those farmers chose, the cooperative. Then we'll look at its more famous cousin, the corporation. After that, we'll put them head to head, and finally, we'll figure out when it makes sense to choose one path over the other.
So what was the answer for those farmers? Well, they decided to band together, not under some boss, but as equals. They formed a cooperative, which is a business model built on a pretty radical idea: power to the people who actually use the service.
So, what in the world is a cooperative society? Well, at its heart, it's a group of people who voluntarily get together to achieve some kind of shared economic goal. But the real magic, the secret sauce, is its guiding principle: each for all and all for each. This means the number one goal isn't just making money, it's serving the members themselves.
And you can see this idea woven into all its core features. Membership is open to pretty much anyone. The management is democratic. The whole reason for its existence, its motive, is service. It's still a business, for sure, but it's a business that is run for and by the very people it serves.
And this brings us to what is maybe the most fundamental difference of all. In a co-op, it doesn't matter if you put in $10 or $10,000. Your voice, your say, is exactly the same as everybody else's. It's one member, one vote. Simple as that. The power is with the people, not with the capital.
All right, now let's completely switch gears and talk about the model we're all a bit more familiar with, the company. And here, the whole philosophy is flipped on its head. The power doesn't belong to the members or the customers, it belongs to the shareholders.
Now, a company is also a voluntary association of people, but its purpose is stated loud and clear right from the get-go. It exists to make a profit. The company's money, its capital, is sliced up into tiny pieces called shares, and owning those shares is what makes you a member, or more accurately, an owner.
And you can see its features are all built around a totally different philosophy. The profit motive is king. A company is also what's called an artificial legal person, which is a fancy way of saying it can own property and sign contracts, just like a person. And this is crucial. Ownership is separate from management. The shareholders own the place, but they hire a board of directors to actually run it.
And believe me, the corporate model is not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It can get really complex. You can have tiny private companies with just a couple of owners, or massive public ones with millions of shareholders. It's a super flexible structure, built for one main purpose: raising a lot of money to grow really, really big.
Okay, so we've met the two contenders, we've seen how they work. Now let's put them in the ring, side by side, and really dig into what makes them so different. This is the showdown.
Let's just break down the biggest differences. The main reason a co-op exists? Service. For a company? Profit. But look at the voting rights. This is the big one. A co-op is all about equality of people. One member gets one vote. A company is about equality of capital. One share gets one vote. That single difference completely changes how decisions get made and, ultimately, who reaps the rewards.
So look, neither one of these models is automatically better than the other. They're just different tools for different jobs. Choosing the right path really means you have to understand the strengths and the weaknesses of each one.
On the one hand, the huge upside of a co-op is that democratic management and often lower operating costs. But if your main goal is to raise a massive amount of cash, hire the absolute best professional managers you can find, and expand like crazy, well, the corporate structure is literally built for that.
But of course, each has a downside. Co-ops can really struggle to raise money, and sometimes that democratic process can lead to slow, inefficient management. Companies, on the other hand, can be a nightmare to set up, super complex and costly. And that split between ownership and management, yeah, that can create a lot of conflict.
And that brings us right back to where we started, Amul. For those farmers, the co-op model wasn't just some legal structure, it was a movement. It was their path to economic freedom, and it proved to be, in a word, amulya, which means priceless. For their goal, it was the absolute perfect tool for the job.
So all of this leaves us with one final, pretty big question. The choice between a co-op and a company isn't just a financial decision, it's a philosophical one. What is the true purpose of a business? Is it to squeeze out every last drop of profit for shareholders, or is it to provide a vital, priceless service to its community? The answer to that really defines the kind of world we want to build.